Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough. I am super excited to continue the series that we've started talking about the nonprofit startup process. I can tell you that having worked with thousands of leaders in my career, starting the nonprofit is one thing, sustaining it is a whole different beast. And so I am super excited to share with you this process that is going to lead to growth and sustainability. Who am I? I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am a nonprofit expert with over 30 years of experience. I am a professional fundraiser. I am an expert grant writer, having received over $400 million in grants and having raised hundreds of millions of dollars for nonprofit organizations, both nationally and internationally. Not only am I a fundraiser, but I'm also an executive leader. So I understand the roles and responsibilities, the opportunities, the challenges, and the vehicles by which you want to lead a nonprofit organization with a comprehensive strategic plan, vision, strategy, and that all hinges upon your relationships with your community. I'm often asked about, my process of a strategic plan. I believe that when you start your nonprofit organization, there are pillars to your organizational success, pillars of your organizational success. And most people believe that when you start your nonprofit organization, you're able to go right into the grant seeking process. But I believe that if you start your nonprofit organization with these pillars thought through and strategized through, then your organization has a extreme probability of being successful and sustainability. So, what are these pillars? The first is vision. That you have a very clear vision of not only what you want to do, but how you're going to do it. What is the outcome of what you're wanting to do? That your vision includes, um, how your community is going to be changed. Your vision is of how your program is going to affect lasting change in the lives of the people that you serve. But in addition to that, to the community that you serve. You also have a vision of who's going to work with you and in what capacity. You have a vision of how your organization is going to grow and what that's going to require. And you also have a vision of how you as a leader are going to lead with the time, with the availability of resources, with the opportunity to develop resources so that you're able to complete your vision. I believe that you see your vision 3 times. I believe you see your vision 3 times. You see it in your mind as you are conceiving it, as the idea comes to you. And then you see it again when it's written down. And then lastly, you see your vision actually being executed. So if in fact your vision is made plain, it should mirror and grow and morph into something that's very plain, very tangible, and something that's executionable. That's a word, right? So I want you guys to think about that. Vision is the first pillar, that you're very clear. I can tell you that a lot of the organizations that I work with are not really clear about what they want to do. Now, the shame of it all, and I'm going to expose the devil, is that many of them go cut and paste from someone else's vision that they saw online, an organization that's doing something similar to what they want to do. And thus they go and they cut and paste that vision, slap it on their website, and then have a challenge executing it, right? Because I believe that it wasn't their vision. If that wasn't you, I'm not talking to you. But if it was you, you know I done peeped you out, right? So you want to make sure that your vision is clear. The second pillar is communication. A part of our organization's ability to be sustainable is our ability to articulate why we do what we do, the benefit of what we do, the impact of what we do. 98% of your donors give because of impact. So we've got to be able to communicate. We've got to be able to express the need, the relevancy, the urgency. We've got to be able to share how our organization is not different like others. We've got to be able to share and articulate clearly through all channels of communication, our social media. We've got to be able to communicate face to face. We've got to be able to communicate in writing. So we've got to be able to clearly articulate this vision and express it. We've got to advocate for it. We've got to be able to be informational, transformational in our language. And so communication is a huge, huge, huge pillar. When we are writing a grant, because most people believe that if you start your nonprofit, that you want to get a grant. That means that you've got to be able to clearly define and outline what it is that you want to do, how what you want to do is important, and why, right? So, number two in the pillars is communication. If you find that you struggle with articulating and communicating what you do and why you do what you do, it's important to know that donors don't give because of what you do. Donors don't give because of what you do. They give because of the impact. They believe the impact. They see themselves being a part of your success in changing lives. And they see themselves as taking ownership, as being a part of it. And so it's not what you do. It is the why what you do is important. It's being able to share and show how transformative work is happening. All right. So number two is communication. Number three is leadership. I believe that a major pillar of our nonprofit organization's success is you as the leader. I believe that there are three reasons that nonprofit organizations struggle. The first one is that we don't have that strategic plan. The second is that we're not able to articulate impact. And the third one is that the leader is not clear on what the steps and strategies and opportunities are to take their organization to the next level. We know what we want to do. We have an idea of what we want to do, but we struggle with really being able to articulate the benefit of what we do. And that's leadership. Leadership being able to advocate, being able to evangelize, being able to motivate and inspire, engage, transform, being a leader in the conversation, being an expert in what you do and why what you do is important. So leadership is a huge pillar. The organization can only go as high as the leader is able to take it. All right, so leadership is clear leadership, being able to build teams, being able to manage growth, being able to manage finances, and really understanding how to build relationships and maintain those relationships, working with people's strengths and being able to identify strengths, even for those who are just new in these areas, and being able to manage all of the personalities on the bus and being able to negotiate, navigate, and adhere to the mission without being swayed by other people's opinions, but being very focused on the organization's ability and goals. Okay, so leadership is another huge, huge, huge pillar. Number four in the five pillars is the finances, the budgeting. Really understanding what it costs to operate the organization. I can tell you that a lot of people feel that you can run your organization for free, but it costs money for the resources. It costs money for the materials and supplies. It costs money and time invested in those addressing the needs that are in the community. So understanding that financial support is a requirement. And so when you're starting your nonprofit organization, being very clear of the finances, being understanding of what revenue is and what expenses are and how to manage that. I can tell you that most organizations fail because we have more expenses than we have revenue. And that's the role of the leadership, to understand that we can't spend more than we bring in. And the fact is this, that more activity does not mean necessarily more impact. Let me say that again. More activity does not necessarily mean more impact. And in fact, the more activities you do that are not impactful, that means more resources are going out the door. So as a leader, understanding your vision, understanding your communication, you as the leader being able to manage the revenue, being able to know what it takes to operate your organization on an annual basis, and understanding the opportunities that you have in leading your community to adopt this cause, to spearhead this cause, to navigate through all of the opportunities that you all are affording the community, and then attaching that to a value that is going to enable the organization to continue to grow. Okay, so budget is huge. I can tell you that a lot of organizational leaders are paying for things out of their pocket because the leader has not yet starting out the gate didn't understand the budget, didn't understand the process of revenue, did not understand the systems and the process of fundraising and cultivating and acquisition. You know, it's one thing that when you start a business, and the nonprofit is indeed a business, we just happen to have a different type of product than our for profit peers. For the for profit peer, their product is coffee or hamburgers, hats, cups, or whatever. But for us, the nonprofit world, our product is impact. And so we want to give our customers, i.e., our donors, good customer service. That means we're good stewards. That means we're cultivating. That means we're sharing with them the value of their patronage, their support, their ongoing support. So you want to make sure that when it comes to understanding the budget, it's not so much as raising it alone as it is in building those relationships with those potential and prospective donors, cultivating them, acquiring them, and being good stewards and transparent about how their resources have enabled the organization with their help to achieve great impact. And then the last pillar is your strategic plan, that you as an organization understand the roles, the opportunities within your organization to affect change in the community. Now, everything that's big was once small. Everything that's big was once small. And so everyone has a first day. Everyone has a first day. And I can tell you that when I'm working with leaders who are very hesitant or scared about starting their nonprofit, let me tell you that you're not going to do it right. You're not going to do it right. There will be challenges. There will be obstacles. There will be threats if you're familiar with the SWOT analysis. But with this is what I want you to know also, that there is everything that you will face in this wonderful industry that you can navigate, okay? And you can navigate it successfully. The quickest way to get from point A to Z is a straight line. And if you, as a new nonprofit leader, have started your nonprofit and you're not quite clear what to do, you're not quite clear what to do first, you're not quite clear of how all of the things that I've said really come to you, I would advise you to get some help. Okay, I would advise you to get with someone, myself included, who is a coach who can walk you through this process. Listen, running a nonprofit organization, as with any business, takes expertise, and your donors are savvy. Your donors are savvy. They're not fickle, but they do care about how they spend their money. Don't you? Don't you care about how you spend your money? And when you go into a business and they do not respect you as a patron, as a person who comes to support their business, and they don't give you good customer service, you hesitate to want to go back, right? You hesitate to want to go back. So very much like when we are engaging our donors and we only want their money, we've got to look at them as partners, as customers, as those people that we want to continue to frequent our business and to be pleased with that experience. As a professional fundraiser and as a person who works with nonprofit leaders both nationally and internationally, one of the ways that I'm able to help organizations raise the funds that they need and to be able to grow their staff and thus their program is really teaching them the process of cultivation, teaching them the process of communication and articulation. Again, 98% of your donors give because of impact, not because of the activity of what you do, but the impact of what you do. Let me say that again. Your donors give because of the impact of what you do, not the activity of what you do. And I can tell you that most of our leaders really are not clear about or the difference between activity and impact. I always say activity is not impact. Activity is not impact. Activity is not impact. Listen, I just want to share with you that you can and should be compensated. Your organization serves a great need in your community. You do what businesses cannot do, you do what the government cannot do. And we serve our communities on a level that neither of those categories could possibly do. And so it is a privilege, it is an honor It is an esteemed industry, one that is and should be respected because we work tirelessly, being a safety net, tirelessly to be that point of change and transformation, being that 911 in our community, as it were. And so I want you to be encouraged. If you are finding yourselves in the process of wanting to start a nonprofit, I'd be happy to work with you. If you are finding yourself that you are stuck in the nonprofit world, you're like, I've started again, but I'm stuck. I don't know what to do yet next. I'd be happy to show you what to do to get moving further and faster, faster and further, is what I work with my organizational leaders to do. Why? I myself, having been a nonprofit leader, listen, I understand that every day that you're not raising revenue is a day that you're not able to pay your bills or salaries. I understand that every day that you spend income and that you don't have the revenue to bring it back, that's going to put your budget at odds, okay? And we've got to make sure that you have the financial resources, the community help, and awareness of why what you do, and then your transparency to them, so that your work can and should continue. This is not an industry where you should feel alone. You are a community-based organization, and so you want to make sure that when you're putting together your pillar of leadership, that was the third pillar that we talked about today. The third pillar, including leadership, includes also your board, making sure that your board is trained and aware of what they should be doing, how you are creating a board culture of fundraising, and how you are leading that, spearheading that, and that the tools and the information that you share with them to communicate, which was the second pillar, that they are able to go out and articulate effectively in the community with you and alongside you. Guys, I am Jennifer Yarbrough. I am your nonprofit expert. If you would like to visit my website, go to D as in David, Yarbrough.com, D as in David, Yarbrough.com. I've got amazing bundles that really break down the process of donor cultivation, the process of donor engagement, the process of raising money and moving cash flow through your organization so that you're able to operate your program and your organization. All right, those things are important and it is expected. Again, your nonprofit is a business and your donors are your customer, and it takes money to run a business, right? So you want to make sure that you have all the tools and the information that you need. And if you have any questions at all, I would be happy to assist you and go over my many services that help nonprofit organizations wherever they are to grow, and those that desire to start with clarity and knowledge. If you're looking to start your nonprofit and you need help with someone doing your paperwork, I do that. If you need someone to help with researching grants to make sure that you are fit for those application processes, I do that. I'm also a grant writer. Again, I've written for over $400 million in grants. I train board members. I also am an executive leader to make sure that you understand the tools, the opportunities, and all of the ways that your organization can be supported for growth and expansion so that you can have the qualified staff that you need, that those that will stay with you and not only be passionate about their job, but be passionate about impact. Guys, this is all I've ever done in my 30 plus years of work in the profession. And I am just thrilled to have the opportunity to share with those of you who are just getting started in this field and would like to grow in the profession. One of the things that I always say is Paul built tents, I build nonprofits, and I'm so excited to work alongside some amazing new leaders, equipping them so that they can take their organizations as far as they can even imagine. And not only that, but being able to serve their community with excellence and transparency. All right. Thank you all so very much for tuning in to Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough. If there are any questions or any way that I can answer any questions for you, feel free to go to my website, JD as in David, Yarbrough.com, JDYarbrough.com. You're also welcome to send me an email at Jen, at JenTheGrandGuru.com, Jen, at JenTheGrandGuru.com. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll be back again tomorrow with the next Nonprofit Nugget. Have a wonderful evening. Blessings.